So, good day to you all, and welcome to episode number 4 of the Family Business Code. And today's session, we're going to look at traits and elements of a family business. For those of you who are just joining us, thank you for joining the series. For those who have been with us before, I'm happy to have you back. Not everything we discuss will resonate with each and everyone. I propose you pick what is ideal for your family business and leave what doesn't. Somebody else might find it of interest. Now, the Family Business Code looks at various aspects of how to set up and manage a family business in a professional manner. And as we look at the different aspects in this series, we look at aspects that impact us and how to put some of those we didn't know about in place. Specifically, when we're looking at elements of the family business, the first thing we need to look at is the vision. Our vision, our mission, and the strategy with which we want to run the family business. As we have previously said, most businesses begin with one individual's vision, and this then is cascaded to all other family members who are directly involved in the running, management, or ownership of the business. So your personal vision has to be streamlined into a vision that can be embraced by all other members of the family. When you look at your vision and see where you want to go, is your vision a short-term vision or is it one that's long-term? Do you see your business growing beyond the first year, the first 3 years, the first 5 years? And if you see it growing beyond that, what structures are you going to put in place to ensure that that same vision is carried forward continuously? Now, to be able to understand whether that vision will outlast you, you need to understand the values of the family. If the family members do not have a value system that's cohesive, it will be injected into your family business and the business will not be able to thrive. So sit down and assess the value system, the values of each family member from a very young age. Look at those who are impatient, look at those who are patient, look at those who have integrity, look at those who are loyal, look at those who are hardworking, and also look at the negative values that exist. Do you have family members who are prone to taking bribes? Do you have family members who don't have a challenge with getting angry or causing conflict? Do you have family members who lack integrity? So that you can start eliminating the values that you don't want incorporated in your family business system. The reason we look at the family members as individuals is because they will create the lifeline or blood ties within the business to keep it growing stronger. Other non-family members will then join the business and find a value system that is strong and cohesive. But if you find your family is ridden with conflict, you need to then put in place within the family constitution specific values that you will entertain and those that you will not. So to do that, you then have to look at your family governance system. Have you put this system and structure in place? Have you clearly stated what values the leadership should have? If you have a CEO, will they be bullied by others simply because they hold the reins, they're in control? If you have a family member who is in charge of finances, will they easily be coerced to give benefits to family members even when they are not planned for? The family governance system should be all-encompassing. You need to have a board, a family council that meets to determine the parameters within which the organization or the company will operate. Then set aside a group of members who are skilled and qualified to be part of your board of directors. These usually are independent and objective. They don't have to be your immediate family members, but they must be people who bring that touch of objectiveness into the business. Once you have looked at these two categories, you then look at the management Whom do you want to get involved directly in the management of the operations? Is somebody skilled on strategy? Is another one skilled on finances? Who is very good at operations? Who's very good at human resource? Are there family members who will not have any of these skills and would just want to be employees? So the value system leads into the governance structure, and the governance structure is then looked at in its entirety because it brings the vision, the values, and the structure together into one unit. We do all this because there's a lot of conflict within our society. Most family members have different ideas, different opinions. We have resentment that is rife when people are more successful than others. We also have differing opinions and ideas where you may have some strongly opinionated family employee members who feel that they know it all and should be listened to regardless of whether their input is good for the business or not. So conflict will exist. It's definitely going to exist. But how are you going to manage it and bring cohesion within your family unit and cascade it into the business? Now, some of you may say, my family is at peace, we don't conflict with each other. But conflict, we've seen, comes from so many avenues. If a family member doesn't feel self-gratification or self-actualization after some years, their ability to cope with the way the business is running may change. When you have death of owners, this changes very many dynamics, especially when it comes to inheritance and continuance of your business. So cohesion is critical, and you need to analyze all the areas and lock up any points at which conflict will now override the peace and unity within your organization. Your family business needs to be professional. It may be run by family members, but it's an entity on its own. And professionalism is what will save you in dark times when the family members conflict or when they disagree with one another. So to have a professionalized business, you need to look for the skill, the qualifications, the consultants or individuals who are adept at how a business should run. Learn from them and teach family members how to continue with that level of professionalism. Slackening or allowing a family member who's an employee to get away with one or two misdemeanors may cause you problems way down the line. Address issues as they occur and put the policies in place in writing and ensure that the family members who are employees adhere to them. The next thing we look at among the elements of family business is the levels of interaction. Family businesses are faced with interruptions from all directions. Your spouse wants something. Let's take an example. You have a company car that takes staff to different meetings and other engagements, and a family member wants that particular car. So who gets priority? Is it the business or is it the family member? What happens when a family member believes that they should use company funds to be able to pay for their own benefits, and this has not been sanctioned? So you need to have continuous interaction in a family business. The family members need to be told what the professional ethics are within the business, while the level of interaction between family members who are employees and those who are not should be merged, so that they are able to understand that this is where we draw the line as a company and this is where we draw the line as family members. And in between, what we disagree upon can be taken to a family council for a decision to be made. The family council is a unit that looks at advising family members and being neutral in arbitration. We also look at leadership, because family members come in with a view of having position or title. Sometimes they may not have the qualifications to move your business to greater heights. So as you pick your successors, as you pick your managers, be very mindful of the leadership qualities you envisage your business to have. Look at the hierarchy. See who should be in what position and what can they bring to the business as opposed to what do they take out. Be very candid with family members. If they cannot hack it, it is advisable that you're very open with them on the level of commitment, the level of engagement, the level of professionalism, the skill, the qualifications, and the experience that they need to bring on board. Then we look at the principles you have. What are the pillars you're going to stand on? Which are the clear principles that you believe must be enforced within the organization, within the DNA that transforms everyone, from a cleaner to the CEO? These principles must be your guiding light, and everybody must be aware of what these principles are. Be very clear about the roles you give individuals within the family. Do not be coerced by family members who are very aware of how you operate and have seen you as they grow up, and therefore know how to manipulate you to be able to get roles that they are not capable of doing. Have your performance measures in place. Ensure that clarity in roles and responsibilities is known not just by the individual, but by other members of the organization and by family members. And finally, please make sure you have a succession plan. You may not write a will, but if you have a clear succession plan, your family business is an entity on its own, and this entity has to stand based on clear principles, guidelines, policies, and procedures. For you to do all this, you have to ensure that communication is smooth and is constantly flowing. Most people feel maligned if they don't have information. And the way information is shared is what determines whether your organization is credible or maintains credibility or not. For example, if you have a gossip chain that moves information faster than a formal mechanism, you will find that conflict is constantly arising within the organization. So your communication channels should be clear through email, written memos, and nothing should be word of mouth unless it's a meeting with all the staff where you're open and minutes will be taken and put aside. Information that is not documented is very hard to follow. So ensure that the communication channels you have, regardless of the media forum you use or the media platform that you have, make sure that these follow a specific procedure. If you have a brown bag lunch to talk about issues, someone should take note of what those issues are. When you have meetings, whether at family council level, at family level, or within the organization, make sure minutes are put aside so that you recall what you have agreed upon in that meeting. Not all opinions in these meetings will mean that this has to be done. So again, if everyone has opinions within the family and the employees have certain positions, them having a meeting with you at a family council meeting does not mean that what they bring on the table is going to be taken as gospel truth or as a resolution. So when you have serious resolutions you've made as family, put them in writing and have them registered so that each resolution is remembered because it has been documented, it has been referenced, and it can be referred back to. Also ensure that transparency is critical. Is really visible within the organization. If you have cocooned meetings with different family members at different times, you will build resentment among the members that are working for you. You need to be very open about what you discuss, and family members can come and talk to you on a one-on-one basis, but it's also good to go back to the other family members and say, these are the individual suggestions I've received, and this is my final position on this particular matter. Then look at responsibility. When you're giving out responsibilities, you as the owner needs to have clear guidelines. When you give responsibility to somebody who's not capable, you're going to fail your own business. So the responsibility comes from the value system. If you find somebody procrastinates a lot or does not do a lot of background work to ensure their role is fully fulfilled thoroughly, ensure that you're very clear about what the responsibilities are, and if somebody doesn't perform, move them from that position. Every family member who becomes an employee in your business has to be accountable for what they are given, their roles and responsibilities, and for their performance. You cannot slacken off because one is your oldest son and the other one is following the older one, and therefore one is given leeway to break the code of accountability. Also, look at continuity. Some members may only come because they need a stopgap entry point into the working world, and they may not be there with their hearts fully representing what the family wants and what the business envisages them to do. So look at continuity and see which family members are here for the long haul, or are we just having stopgap entry by family members? Continuity is critical if you want your business to go second, third, and fourth generation continuing onwards. Look at your command centers. Are you putting family member employees to manage non-family members and yet they lack the experience? Will they be belittled by the employees that they supervise? Look at the command centers. Have you created roles and positions to fit family members which are not necessary and are impacting on your bottom line? Then look at the different connections. Which family members work well with others? Which family members are amicable with other family members? Are there family members who feel they can't work with others? If you feel the connections within the business are not as stable as you'd like them to be, deal with it. Do not put it on the back bench so that it's left to simmer over time and create discord within your company. Look at compensation, and all these we'll look at further down the line. But when we look at compensation, try and see whether the compensation levels you have are streamlined into the structure of the organization. And as you plan, please make sure you plan for next generation management when your business will have grown and will have even larger, more complicated dynamics. So I want to thank you for listening to me, and I wish you well as we wait for the next episode. Thank you for listening once again. Please subscribe, and I wish you a pleasant day.